I think even New York have lost people
Yeah.
in the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, they're all coming west.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them have gone down to Texas.
Yeah.
It's been I guess the tax laws have been very attractive down there, and the weather also is a bit better than obviously. So it's really has grown.
Yeah.
But cities like Cleveland,
Mhm.
Cincinnati, in Ohio, and especially the major one would be Detroit, and the car building city.
Yeah.
And you've probably seen the pictures of abandoned houses on
Yeah.
street after street
Yeah.
in Detroit.
What about Chicago? I mean, why is that so big?
Huh?
Why is Chicago so big?
Oh, it was a place where the meat processing went on back in the 19th century. Built up of sending herds of cattle for consumption. Meat processing firms built up there, and also it had the advantage of being
river.
on a huge lake.
Yeah.
Transportation back in those days was very dependent upon water travel. You could
Yeah.
ship things overland by on boats,
Yeah.
which was a lot better than dragging them by horses. So Chicago was situated very nicely for the expansion into the west, and it was the principal hopping off point, you might say, sort of like further south, St. Louis,
Yeah.
on the Mississippi.
Yeah.
So that was the big deal in the 19th century. Chicago became the second to New York in size. New York was and of course, the East Coast. Boston was big too back in the 19th century. It was,
What about Florida?
Huh?
What about Florida?
Florida? Well,
Shipping and everything.
It grew pretty good. It was in the building up of industrial America back in the after the Civil War was pretty well contained to the northern part.
Yeah.
The southern part was for agriculture
Slaves.
and was slaves. So Florida was part of that.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why industry started out in the northern part of the United States, principally from New England and New York and there, and moved west rather than south. So that's why they became so big there. People from and it was built up on account of the tremendous number of people coming from Europe to start a new life in America.
Yeah.
Back in the 18th and 19th century.
Yeah.
It was just when you think of it, it was mind-boggling the number of people who came across in the flimsy boats that they had back in the, especially in the 18th century. They were sailing ships. That's all they had to get you going was a big sail.
The wind, yes.
And they finally developed steam engines, and that made it more possible. But the problem, even with steam ships, was that how do you might have 500 people aboard. What do you use for food?
Yeah.
What do you use for everything that you need for 500 people for,
Yeah.
say, 10 days to get across the Atlantic
Yeah.
with those slow-moving ships? That's why finally, in the early 20th century, they perfected